So what I'm sharing with you today is an exercise that I did for a class to show how to improve a photograph and how to give it more depth. So I got this photo here from canva.com, and I like all the foliage, I like the repetition of the trees and the similar shapes, but all of the colors in this seem really pretty similar. So what I'm going to do is just a tiny sketch without a lot of detail to improve the sense of depth and distance using atmospheric perspective. So the first thing that I'm doing using this really simple palette, it's just red, yellow, blue, and white, is I'm establishing some trees and trying to show some depth between them. So some of the trees have some warmth in it, and then some of them are kind of a coolish, purplish color. Then I put a whole bunch of warmth up front in that big shadow area, a cool grayish blue in the back, and then a yellowish green sort of in the middle. So already this begins to establish the feeling of some things being closer and some things being further away by veering away from the colors that are in the photo and instead making up colors that follow atmospheric perspective. Atmospheric perspective states that things that are closer are going to be more intense in color, that there's going to be a larger contrast between lights and darks, and that you're going to have more warm colors up front like yellows and reds, and more cool colors in the back like blues. That's why I established the blues in the background and the yellower and warmer colors up in the foreground. Even this green that I'm putting in there in the background right now has quite a lot of blue in it. As I'm adding more yellowish greens into the background, that blue that's beneath it establishes it as being far away so that it doesn't compete with that warm yellowish green that's up close. I'm making sure that the trees and the shadows that are up close have a good amount of warmth in them, meaning that there's some red and some yellow in them, and that they're not just a blue cool shadow. Those cool shadows are reserved for the distance. Now this bright yellowish green, which really consists of a lot of yellow and some white, is going up here in the front, and it is the lightest value that I have. It's right next to a bunch of dark values, which helps pull it forward, having that increased contrast. And it's also the most yellow in the entire picture as well. So having that brightest contrast and the most amount of yellow up front helps it come toward us. So here you can take a look at the finished little sketch compared with the reference photo, and of course you can see the difference. Certainly there's a lot more information in that photograph that could be included if this were, a more finished painting and something taking longer, but just doing this sketch can give you the idea of how you can veer away from the colors that you see in a photograph in order to give more depth and interest to it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.